Hello, Anne,
Hi.
Paul, thank you so much for taking the
It's a
time
pleasure.
to chat with the Rikers Beard team.
It's always lovely to see you.
It's so great to be here, and we're really looking forward to the weekend. There's a real buzz about the place so far
Yes,
today that
yes,
we've
very
noticed.
much
So,
so.
There was a
Yes.
heck of a party in the
Yeah.
bar last night, I can tell you.
oh really?
Yes, yeah.
Only one to get started with.
Absolutely.
Okay, we've got a few questions for you.
Okay, fire away.
So hopefully they're not going to be too insane questions, but we think they're stuff that people would like to know. So
Okay.
Laura's going to start off. So go ahead.
Righty-ho.
So obviously it's, you've been doing this for a few years now, it's the 24th year, and we just wondered how do the cons you organise today, how do they differ from the first con way back at the beginning?
Oh my goodness.
And if
Well,
you could go back and give yourself some advice to your past self, what would it be?
Don't do
don't
it.
do it.
Oh, but then we'd lose out.
Yeah, no, we've enjoyed it all the time, you know.
I
but
think, yes, logistically there are probably pieces of advice we could give ourselves, things that we might have done differently, but actually not a lot.
Right.
Our event has run as a family from the very beginning, because we were a club to start off with.
Right.
And we ran monthly at the university, which is where a lot of us, I've said this many times, we all met at university. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Go away.
An organiser's job is never done.
champagne electric bill.
I do apologise.
No problem.
Essentially, we ran a club. Well, we started with a Sci-Fi Society, which then morphed into a membership of an international Sci-Fi Society, Star Trek Society.
Yeah.
And we ended up taking over a wing of the university every month, and we used to get up to 400 people a month.
Wow.
And it was like having a mini convention. We had, all the refreshments. We had 3 lecture theatres running films. We had games. We had everything that you would see here, only in a
miniature
condensed
Wow.
for a
And that every
Saturday.
month.
Yeah.
And I used to have a captain's ready room.
Oh, nice.
And I used to
Okay.
sit in the ready room, and people used to come and visit me. And I had this a goldfish bowl, didn't I, with one of these magnetic jobs. So I had Livingston. Yes.
That's
And then one fateful day, I said, look, if we can do this every month, why don't we just run a convention?
Yeah.
And that's exactly
Exactly
what
how it
happened.
started.
We went to the Royal Bath
For the first 2 years.
for the first 2 years.
Outgrew that in 2 years, bang, gone.
Well, I
Yeah.
think we outgrew it in the first, but we
Yeah.
tried to split it into the restaurant, didn't we? And it didn't work. So we moved to the Carrington in Bournemouth, and we were there for 18 years.
Yeah, a long time.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
until we moved here.
Yeah. And then, we must have been doing something right because we've been followed ever since. We're the only fan-run convention in this country now.
No,
Only non-profit one?
I think the longest running one.
we are
Yeah,
the
sure.
longest running one. There are a couple of others. There's a MardaCon, which is a very small affair down in the West Country. I think there might be something up north somewhere. But generally speaking, as the type of event, when you look back to the 90s, the 80s, there were 35 big Star Trek conventions every year, and they were all hugely attended. And I think one of the things that we did and made sure of was that we paid attention to what was actually happening, because of course once we had Babylon 5, that kind of divided fandom a little bit. And then of course don't forget technology had a huge effect because there were no computers. Because one of the things that everybody loved to do was watch the episodes together.
Sure.
And I think of all the things that is actually missing, and something that perhaps people have come to fandom later on, is that sitting in a massive hall watching the first episodes of Star Trek together as a community, and everybody cheering and going no and yelling and falling asleep at night under the seats,
Yeah.
We used to go on all night, didn't we? We used to get them going on all night.
And I think I do
movies.
miss that kind of thing, but of course since the internet came into being,
Yeah.
that destroyed that
Of course.
completely, because anybody can get anything on demand. So that excitement and frisson, because we used to get episodes before they'd aired quite often.
Sure. Yeah.
And of course everybody was clamouring to see them. So we all sat and watched these going, oh wow.
Amazing.
And that doesn't happen anymore.
Sure.
Which is quite sad, actually.
It is a little, yeah. But you replaced it with other amazing things.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
But that's what you have to do.
But we have continued to feed everybody.
And that's the thing.
Right
it's,
from the word go.
That's also actually leads really nicely into the second question, because obviously you've had to expand the ball this year.
Yeah.
So obviously things are expanding. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Are things expanding just out of necessity,
Yes.
or are they
Absolutely.
because of the new things that you're bringing in?
I think we like to be in one place.
Yeah.
A lot of the crew come from the area logistically, and so when you look at the hotel, the flat space isn't enough. It was never big enough, really, but we managed to squeeze a quart in a pint pot. But it got to the point last year, as I've said earlier today, where you're looking at a day reg who come in on a £5 ticket, and they weren't getting talks, and there didn't seem to be an awful lot because they weren't taking in the whole aspect of the weekend.
Indeed.
So this year we decided, having taken that on board, we would put out a £15 ticket, and then that encompasses everything.
Yeah.
But then we're not a signing show, but by the same token we really needed to provide something else for people, apart from all our games and pub quizzes and all the other things that we do. It was like, well, how can we accommodate more exhibitors? So we had this light bulb, well, I had the light bulb moment of going, what about marquee? It's February, oh my God. Right, it's got to be floored, it's got to be heated, this is going to be expensive, and I think we have to do it because we need to respond to the critique that there's not enough to do during the day for people who are not taking part in the whole weekend and have got the full ambience of the event.
Yeah.
So hopefully this weekend it will work.
Right, it looks really impressive down there with the games all set up, and you've got the Lego room. I think that's provided a lot
it does
of
look
things for
fantastic,
people.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, and the marquees look brilliant.
They really do, yeah.
Little cool at the moment, but I think we've sorted that
Well,
out.
that has been sorted now.
Yeah.
And
Truckies are fairly die-hard anyway, aren't they?
Yes.
And I think too, once we get all the people going in and out and through, you'll get body heat in there as well. Although we've got heaters going, but obviously it's a new thing and we just have to see how it works and adjust accordingly.
Yeah, brilliant.
The cosplay's a big thing.
Oh yes, and cosplay.
Yeah, very much so.
And also creative workshops. I mean, Jane Miller was in there showing. Yeah.
Great
so
stuff.
we're trying to expand on that side of things because I think certainly with people who are making their own costumes, things like that are very useful for knowing knowledge. You know, how do I do something?
It's a big business as well.
Yes.
A lot of people are doing it.
Yeah.
And of course, you'll get some people in the day in costume that might not be there in the evening as well. So it's
That's
nice
right. Well, it also
nice
gives them an
to them.
opportunity to display their own costumes during the day, having extra cosplay. Well, for us, it's fancy dress in the evening and cosplay during the day.
Yeah, it's a great addition.
Yeah.
Great.
I'm going to have to get my directors to their next duties. Is there any other last questions?
Yeah, let's do one more.
Yes. In that case, it's coming up to the big anniversary year, and we were just wondering what plans have you got for the 25th that you can let us in on?
Huge, and a
I
lot
know
of
it's all a bit
secrets.
hush-hush.
Can you give us one little tidbit? Anything at all?
Well, it's going to be a silver ball, a silver
Silver ball.
jubilee ball.
Brilliant.
And I think the Friday night's going to be a bit of a whiz as well.
Yes.
There'll be lots of German style singing, I'm sure.
Singing and drinking.
Yes.
Fantastic.
I won't go
That's
any
a clue.
further.
That's a clue.
Okay.
Yes. So obviously we're looking at our guest stars for next year. We're saying, well, do we get fresh stars or do we actually bring back some of the people that we've had before to
That were
celebrate
really
the
good.
25 years?
Yes.
People,
We're
And I
not
think-
fussy. We're
We're very happy with every
we're
guest.
very happy. Never let us down.
Not
I
once.
think it would be nice to actually have some of the people who have attended before.
It would be
Yeah.
very good.
Particularly some of the ones that we know may not be the ultra famous ones, but the ones that we know have been an absolute blast.
Yes.
And they're
Party
real
goers.
party
Yeah.
animals.
Absolutely.
And yes, I've got at least several faces in my head right now
Suggestions
that,
as
that
well.
would be just magic. And also some of the older ones, because with all due respect to them, they're wonderful. And they are getting older, and it's going to get to the point where they don't want to travel anymore. We
Sure.
we
Of course,
actually met quite a few people in LA when we were there the end of last year, and they're saying, you know, we have to travel this way because we are getting older and we do need more comfort and this kind of thing. So of course you've got to be able to take that into account.
Of course.
So yes, I'm hoping to get some of the older ones back.
Great. Thank you so much for that information.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
For your time. It's
Pleasure,
been wonderful.
as
Thanks
always.
a lot.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Cheers.